Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name's Andy, Corporate Commander TFW, and I'm joined this week by my guest himself. It's Mikey G. Wolfie 3. Hello, Mikey.
Kamida.
You ain't no god, Mikey.
Kamida.
You can only aspire to be a god when you know there's someone you need to take down first before you could mount that throne.
I don't want to take him down.
Well, then you will never be a god. Boy.
I knew you were going to do that. There is a boy compilation out there which we'll touch on later on, which 1,300 and something times.
I watched some of it and I was like, man, this is good.
Boy.
It's the times when it's not the exact same way when it's boy. 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 Oh, it's great. How you doing, Mr. Mikey? How are you feeling? You feeling
I'm
good since you were gone last week?
I was gone, yes, because we had an arrival and we were all running around because my niece is home.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
That means no one's gonna sleep now forever.
No, I don't know if I'm quite ready for this uncle stuff.
No.
Because, well, right, so I was handed the baby. Because my sister just lives up the road, so I walked up to her house because we had to show the face and everything else after helping her settle in, and it was just like, oh yeah, and here she is and feeding the baby, and the baby's like, oh, adorable, and it's just like, would you like to hold her? Yeah, and I held her, and I was just looking at her, and I was just, you're doing that thing where I've never actually, I've never held babies before, so I'm like, where do I hold a hand and head? I'm just holding it and staring down. And this is when I realized I probably wasn't entirely uncle material, because my first instinct, and what I proceeded to spend the next 5 minutes doing, was to insult the baby.
It wasn't drop baby in bin, close bin lid, walk away.
No, I just started going like, you're ugly as sin. Yes, you are. You have no teeth. That means you can't smile because you are an old man. Oh, you've got no brain, and you've got nothing. You're just sitting there farting in your pants. I was just like, coming away from it, it's like, that's not good. That's the initial reaction.
Did people mock you for not being able
enjoy...
to hold the baby or not know how to hold the baby? Because I've been around to Abby's when she's put cat on me or when she's told me to walk dog. And I just, because I've never done it, I'm just like, what do I do? And she's like, he doesn't know what to do. And I don't know what to do.
You don't know how to walk a dog?
Apparently, I looked weird trying to walk the dog. I was holding the leash.
So basically, you know the loopy bit at the end?
Yep.
Hand goes in there.
I did that. Yep.
Hold on to lead.
Yep, I did that.
Dog walk in front.
No, the dog didn't walk in front. It's a puppy. It doesn't do anything you want it to.
They work up to that. But basically, and then just basically you walk. They're the one who's supposed to learn, not you.
Apparently, I looked weird doing
it. Or did they do that thing where they don't put their wrist through the loop and just hold on to it, like hold on to the back? Because I hate it when people do that.
I don't know.
Because if your wrist can fit through the hole in the lead, put your wrist through.
Because what if your especially head can fit through the hand bit though?
Only if you don't have a big dog.
What if you've got a double collar where your collar is attached to the dog's collar, so you don't know who's walking?
This sounds more like a knife fight.
Yeah, it's like those wrestling events where they have the bull ropes around each of the forearms, and it's a tug of war between two manly, greasy men.
Throw the puppy a switchblade.
Yeah.
Start circling.
You pull out a machete. Well, we're going, because that's your size. That's appropriate for you. This is appropriate for me.
That doesn't seem fair.
You're not fair. You're tiny and cute. People will judge me for fighting you with a knife.
Yeah. You'll use that as a weapon. This is my weapon.
Exactly. So apart from that, you doing good, Mikey?
Yes, everyone's settling in, and she does indeed fart and smile a lot.
Yeah, that's what they do, I'm told.
The dog either hates her or hates anyone going near her. It's hilarious. It's like, I hate the screaming. Someone goes over to comfort her. You shouldn't be standing that close to the baby. I'm afraid you're going to have to go back into your seat.
We're more related to it than you are, dog.
Sit in the chair. Sit back in the chair. Just sitting under the cot looking at you and just like, sit back in the chair.
Oh, man. Damn.
You sit down. Baby continues screaming, make it stop!
Is this the violent dog?
Yes, actually.
I thought so. Yeah, that sounded about right.
So it's like, stand up to shut up, baby. I told you to sit down.
Seed. Well, Mikey, we've got news to talk about this week. Transformer related, once again.
Robots in the news.
That's right. We're going to drop that ball in front of me, and I'm going to kick it like a football into the back of the net, because I'm told that that's the thing you do with football.
Like a man with a baby.
People. Well, it's maybe what you maybe don't do with a baby. I don't know. I have yet to see a person drop a baby in front of them and hoof them into the back of a net.
Run off into the distance. Goal!
do a backflip. All the parents are in the stands screaming, going, no! You're just going, yeah!
Shirt
Go
over
team.
the heads.
It's the only way. It's like there's a real sport. But Magic Square, Mikey, the people that are bringing us the MSB02 fire extinguisher, which we talked about last time, which was the Legend Scaled Inferno. I think it was Inferno we talked about, wasn't it? It wasn't Grapple.
Yes. No, it was an uncolored Inferno.
Ah, well, we've got a coloured one now. I think we probably assumed a Grapple was coming, though, I'm assuming.
I mean, I would be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a huge amount of work that needs to go into it if you want to do that G1 thing that they did. And for those wondering, yes, the ladder is fully extendable to show how happy he is that Red Alert's about. I'm going there. Apparently, this mold really shines, and you should not forget this is only a Legend size figure. Magic Square Toys is really doing great on the competitive Legend scale market. I probably would have said the limited. It's growing, but compared to the Masterpiece scaled market, it's like it's a drop in the ocean, you know. Mikey, how do you feel about this little tiny Inferno, noting that he is, for a Legend scale, the same size as Masterpiece Bumblebee, which I don't know if that might be too tall. I want to see him scaled next to other Legends figures, which I don't think it does here.
They've got him with an Optimus and a Sideswipe and a Starscream, but I don't know from what lines. I mean, I don't know what line, and a Soundwave as well.
Yeah, they've got
And
Iron Factory, the Iron Factory Sideswipe and Sunstreak, and they're a little smaller, so I don't know for you scale whores out there if that's right or not.
I don't know. Like, it's Inferno, who cares?
It's the group of the Megatron, the Starscream, the Soundwave, and all those guys being off against the Autobots looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it looks solid, but like that ladder is huge.
Oh yeah,
and it fits giant spike in it.
Yeah, it does. That's no, that's
just
weird.
Like a giant spike.
I will save you, humans.
Better than IDW spike. Imagine he was giant. We'd all die.
Oh no.
Just like, ladies, it's coming. Please don't.
Please, just no. I mean, I know the Spike figure isn't a heavy figure, but it's still quite impressive to have that Spike figure basically at the top of the ladder, and it's still, at least in this image, I mean, it could be different when the product comes out, still holds in the right position.
I am going to call a little bit of bullshit on this one, though.
Oh no, Mike!
A little bit of bullshit. Okay. Because there was a picture there, and I was just like, "Holy crap! Did they actually work this in?" And I opened it, and no, they didn't, because they've got Photoshop lights on in one of the pictures. Where he's
for his eyes.
Yeah, no, for his eyes and for his actual like cab mode. Where yeah. I was like, hang on, did they actually work tiny little electronics? Oh no! Like, I'm usually, you know what, picture manipulation to add a little flair to your product, no problem with. Problem with. That's just disappointing. Overall, I mean, he looks pretty solid. I think I said before, hey, tiny G1 toy or G1 Masterpiece style thing or whatever. Limited appeal for me personally. But he's super articulated. He looks like he transforms really interestingly. And clearly whoever is doing this has a sense of real personality. Because they're Inferno's doing stuff like chilling out, throwing dog biscuits at Ravage.
Yep, that's pretty sweet.
Throwing Ravage. So like, I feel like there's some creativity behind the thinking here. So I think he's turning out pretty well. And also he's managing to look fairly articulated in the head with that giant shoulder thing. And what they didn't do the obvious thing, which was make the whole thing rotatable.
Yes, I'm wondering how easy it is going to be to just turn that head, whether his little pointy ear bits are up enough that you can grab it with your finger, or if you're going to have to like really finagle it to kind of just turn that head around, you know?
Hey, if it's easier than the Lux Power of the Prime Slug, I'll be happy. Oh my god.
I've not tried that.
Turning his head. You're reaching inside a Triceratops mouth with a head that's quite stiff.
Oh dear. Okay.
And you're just pushing and it's just like...
Just push it, Mikey.
Push it.
Push it. Push it to the limit, Mikey. Push it past the point of no return.
God, so many Push It A and Bs back in the day.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Again, like you, for me personally, Inferno doesn't do it for me. If this was like, it does make me hopeful, I think, for like a season 3 set of characters, you know, that the kind of future guys which are more my cup of tea, if you would. It makes me a bit more hopeful for that, because if they're able to transfer these skills that they're setting up for Inferno over to those weirder, kookier, arguably in my opinion cooler designs, I'd be more willing to go for it, because we said when who was it that did the little headmasters, Mikey?
Oh, the Unique Toys, was it? Because they didn't have head articulation. You had to pull the headmaster out and turn it round.
Yeah, that's right. They were okay figures, but they weren't like amazing. If these guys or somebody else again does the headmasters and those kind of characters, I'd be much more happy and interested. But it's a good starting point at the very least.
I think if I started to see some, like if they did the horror cons, I'd be super pleased.
That'd be great, yeah, that'd be interesting to see how they did. Well, Mikey, as I mentioned Season 3, we do also see some prototype images of their Ultra Magnus from Season 3. By the by.
Which Magdalene Visaggio was watching the Transformers movie during the week.
Oh, really?
And I was reading her Twitter, and I got a laugh, just like Optimus Prime dying, surrounded by friends he's known for 4 minutes.
Well, Perceptor was there as well, to be fair.
Yeah, and Daniel.
Well, Perceptor was there. You know,
old friend I just met. Why am I your old friend? Everyone else is dead.
Because there's a white me inside of you. What? You heard.
Do you ask to get inside of me?
Bleh. No, answer the question. Don't just die. Bleh.
Was he coming on to me?
I don't know. Hold on to this for me, Rodimus. A hot rod, whatever.
Yes. Hold on to this for me, Rodimus. What? Never mind.
You heard.
Don't worry about it.
But yes, they have shown an Ultra Magnus. So once again, this is a little bit more appealing. It is a prototype image, so there's one concern I have. It's not really a concern, but there's one thing that's very screaming at me like, here, look at this, it's not right. But apart from that, it is in scale, I suppose, with the Inferno, and we do also see a grapple there as well, so, you know, not a huge shock, really. Mikey, I will mention to you before I ask you your opinion, my issue. My issue is on the front of the cab, for his trailer mode, there is a big pin on each side, which I'm sure is completely necessary for the whole, you know, transforming thing, because there's no little white prime in him. He is completely one piece, it seems, which is neat. But I'm hoping that when the proper version comes out, it's going to be a little bit less obvious.
Or have
if it's
something
not
covering that would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not going to be a massive deal. It's just, in that vehicle mode, it is very, very, very in your face about it.
Yeah, because, you know, it's a white cab with a bunch of silver. I think if it was painted up a bit, even if you still had that pin, it would be less stark. Because your eyes at the moment are just drawn to white, silver.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so.
I hope there's something to go over the boobs as well, because he's got little holes in his boobs, and it looks like he's got a mouth because of his little ab swivel.
It does. It looks like he's looking at you.
It does, yeah. I mean, we know for a fact, I'm pretty sure we know for a fact that the front of that will be painted blue at the very least, because this is completely unpainted. But
or like there'll at least be blue tint to the windows.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure there'll be something to cover it up just a little bit. But Mikey, how do you think Ultra Magnus has turned out, since we were fairly okay with the Inferno?
Again, the engineering seems pretty solid. Nice to see the confirmation of Grapple, but who doesn't have a giant ladder? Haha, you suck, Grapple. But you know, again, it's that little bit of G1 that does make me step back a little bit. But in terms of engineering, this thing looks on the ball. Ankle tilts, like pelvic thrusts for days. He looks like he's gonna be pretty fun.
I'd like him to be a little bit chunkier, like his torso's a little bit thin for my liking. I'd like him to look like he works out a bit more.
I can see that, but I feel that might be a bit of a compromise for the transformation.
Yeah, of course. Like I say, it's not a huge deal. It's just one of those things that I look at Inferno and I look at Magnus, and I would want Magnus to be a bit stockier. but it's not a massive deal. I think the only other Legends Ultra Magnus we've had was the Iron Factory one, right?
Yeah, actually. Now I think about it.
I wasn't a big fan of.
No, but it was, prevented from sexually harassing other robots, which, by an angry female robot who stuck guns up people's bum, so...
I think you'll need to explain that, because not even I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, Iron Factory, when they advertised the Optimus Prime, the Stormbringer Optimus Prime, and the Elita 1.
Oh, yes.
Their marketing was Ultra Magnus and Optimus meet the girls, except Elita. They then attempt to sexually harass the girls. Elita comes in, kicks them away, and it ends with Elita's gun shoved up Prime's backside.
That sounds familiar. No, I don't remember it fully, but that sounds, oddly familiar.
There's a wonderful picture of Optimus in the air with the legs together and the arms over his head, like pure anime. But seriously, Google Iron Factory, Optimus Prime, or whatever it was called. I'm sure you'll be able, or Elita 1. I'm sure you'll be able to find the pictures. But it was I remember that just sticking with me. Oh dear, good times.
Never forget. Gun in his ass.
Hey,
right
Andy,
up there.
Remember the time they tried to market a Masterpiece RC by having her have sex?
I remember a lot
Springer?
of people being angry about it, and me and you thinking it was quite funny.
It was funny, but there was clearly they meant it to be the impression of a mutually consensual event of oral sex. It did slightly look like she was trying to fight him off. Just a tiny bit.
A tiny bit.
Like, we were all in on the joke up until that last bit.
Yep. Strange times.
God almighty.
But Ultra Magnus, pretty good. We're pretty stoked. Well, not stoked on him. I think I'm more interested than you. I don't think we know on prices of these guys, though.
No, not yet.
I would be much more interested in the Ultra Magnus myself. Unlike you, I'll need to wait and see how it goes. And wait for a review or two just to say what the quality is like on these figures. But I'm always into legend scale things. That's not a bad scale for young Andy. Mikey, I want you to tell me about another toy that is not in my scale line, but is done by Maz Toys.
Maz Toys, they're making a bit of a name for themselves in recent months.
Good name.
Good name. After Skip and especially Rune, and then they worked together with Mayhem Mechanics to do Unrustables.
Oh yes.
And they're releasing a few other prototypes and stuff, and they've released the prototype image of Maz Toys MS-01 Renegade. This is a Starscream, presumably. Now we're going to say presumably right now that it's Masterpiece scale, but it could be Voyager. Who knows? But to add that little bit of difference, this is a stylized Tetrajet Starscream. So the robot mode is fairly strongly G1, but things like the wings, the legs, and the vents and the shoulders are all a bit more spacey. And the vehicle mode is kind of war within Tetrajet, but I'd almost say less war within, more anime. If you know what I mean. Yeah. But it's definitely kind of an original take on the Tetrajet design. This has been tried before. One company, I can't remember their name, it might have been iGear, tried to do sort of the Tetrajets that transformed into the G1 cartoon models. Didn't go that well. You can pick those up for really cheap, and I've always been tempted to pick up one, but I'm not going to.
Do it, Mikey. Do it.
This is kind of the first real attempt to do this hardcore, shall we say. So he's got a fair bit of back kibble, but he's also got features like he's got his boob missiles, he's got multiple faces, and flip out landing gear, the whole kit and caboodle really, and it looks like the null rays might lengthen a bit. But yeah, so Andy, what is your take on this and the billions of repaints it's going to be? Oh, it's going to be 20 centimeters tall.
Is that Voyager scale? That sounds like Voyager scale.
That sounds like Voyager. Correct us. Don't bother. I won't listen. So Andy,
Jesus, Mikey.
what are your thoughts?
It's got a decent look to it. I think it's obviously going to pop a lot more once it's painted. He's got a very handsome face sculpt, I will say that. And for a Tetrajet, I think it's probably the best realized Tetrajet that has been made so far in both third-party and first-party versions. Because when I think Tetrajets, I think of... Oh, God, what was that? A company did it, and they did all of them. They did like the cone heads, and they came in terrible boxes, and they apparently were just trash. I remember those.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they were called though.
I think that's the ones I was talking about.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
This looks way better than those.
Oh my, yes.
At the moment, I'm not being sold on it, and I think it's just purely because it's not painted. So I don't really want to go yeah or no. But it does look like a decent sculpt. I'll be interested to see how well it turns out. Maybe there's a little bit too much of the ball joint for the neck shown. Like for the close up of the head where it's being tilted back, there's a lot of peg that's shown.
Yeah, that could be a prototype feature.
It could be. If it is hidden better in the official version, I'd be way more down for that. That would be much better. I love the fact as well that his little wheels are hidden away in this jet mode as well. That's a really neat little feature.
No,
what about you, Mikey? Are you good about this? You gonna buy yourself 1 or 5 or however trillion they do?
I don't know about that, but I think he's turning out pretty well. You know me, I do like the stylization. So I think this is neat. The design they've gone for the Tetrajet, I think, is super sweet. Yeah. I love the little air intakes in the front.
Yeah, they're neat. They're cool.
And you can give him triple jet engines. So because it looks like there's modularity to the back. Because one picture has just this really clean surface, and the other picture has this tail fin one, the extra tail fins and extra engines. So I'm wondering if that's like a feature, or is this going to be like, hey, for say Skywarp, you're going to have extra boost?
Yeah.
But no, he looks pretty articulated. The feet are a little messy.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. It's the way that they kind of come a little bit further out from the foot, right?
Yeah, like they're on a stalk. Now that may just be like the transformation because of the prototype nature of things. But
sorry, it comes out on a what?
It comes out in some sort of stalk.
Or a stalk?
Fuck off. Fuck off. The second I started saying it, I was just like, oh no.
I'm rubbing my nipples too right now.
Ugh, not your nipples. No one likes your nipples. The only thing I would say that would really turn me off is some backpack. But, yeah. I mean, it's a jet. Folds up onto his back. Now, I could get past that. I know plenty of people who would find that a bit of a turn-off in terms of the figure.
Well, I do have a question then for you, Mikey, because this is a problem that we find a lot of the time with jets. Would you prefer a backpack, or would you prefer undickable for the jet? Like really offensive, that we're really used to at the moment, offensive undickable for the jet mode.
Me, personally?
Yeah.
I would sacrifice the back. I would sacrifice the back for a clean jet mode.
Ooh, okay.
Because, god damn it, jet modes suck. 8 out of 10 times they suck unless it's space. Mm-hmm. And this is space, so... and yeah, he does have a really handsome face, and especially the one where he's looking all, oh,
he's so handsome.
He's so handsome, but he doesn't have a neutral face. That looks sad. He's like,
well, it's because he's probably been put in prison.
Yeah, true, and he's got bleh, I'm angry.
Bleh.
Bleh, bleh. He's got a half smirk, and he's got this, oh, I didn't shoot you, Megs. Oh no. No.
I have accepted all of my crimes and gone to prison. Isn't that right, Ghost Bumblebee?
Okay, Moss Toys, can we please have a cane accessory for Skip? And they can go together and be friends. And they're just like, I want that. Just the two of them sitting together. I want a whole web comic of it.
Well, I think all the IDW fans have set a precedence that if a Thundercracker toy doesn't come out with a dog, and none of them have, then they have missed the mark on something.
Yeah,
even if it's not a very good-looking dog, it just needs to be it just needs to be a little tiny dog. Doesn't need to even fit in his hand. It doesn't even need to be to scale. Yep. Just a little dog to put next to him. There you go. Boom.
Yep.
Buster. Preferably in a space
only accessories Thundercracker needs.
Yes.
Yep.
Just saying.
I like if you want to do like a master pack, include Bob and Doc, but
that would be cool. Yeah, like that'd be a neat little accessory pack to do.
But. Why aren't you people listening? None of you care. Y'all.
To be fair, I don't think we're money makers, Mikey. I don't think we're the business savvy people that anyone should listen to.
We're the dreamers, Andy.
We are. We're the dreamer of the dreams. What does that mean? Some bullshit, I can tell you that.
Speaking of bullshit, Andy, take us on to some
Yes.
Netflix news.
Yeah, Netflix. Now, you may have remembered a show from way back, I think technically last year, last Christmassy kind of time, called The Toys That Made Us.
I honestly hadn't.
Yeah, have you not seen The Toys That Made Us?
Nope, completely forgot it was on, to be honest.
Oh, really? Oh, it's not bad. It's not like you shit your pants. This is like god tier level stuff, but they have some quite interesting episodes. The Barbie episode I thought was actually very, very intriguing. The G.I. Joe one, not so much, but the Barbie one is worth a watch just because there's some backstabbing tomfoolery and horse hockey in that episode, which I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. Cutthroat world of Barbie dolls. There was a massive gap between when it ended or had a break because it was the end of effectively part one or half of the season. Now we're on to the second half, which had Transformers coming. So what we had seen, this is what they've written down for the little article. This awesome documentary series really impressed fans of different popular franchises with the first 4 episodes of the season covering Star Wars, Barbie, He-Man, and G.I. Joe. Some interesting stuff in there. Fans and collectors were also looking forward to the next episodes, and now you can finally start getting ready for Lego. I think that one could be good. Hello Kitty.
I watched that to see if they're still trying to convince people that Hello Kitty is actually a British girl.
What? No.
There was a thing a couple of years ago, I don't know if they'd ever took off, where we're just like, oh, she's not a cat. She's a girl from London.
What? But she's got ears and whiskers.
And her name's Kitty.
That too, I mean, there's that too. I think the ears and the whiskers give it away a bit more, but whatever. No, what? That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's stupid.
See if they talk about that.
All right, yeah. There's also Star Trek, which I think I would be interested in potentially because Playmates did a lot of Star Trek toys of pretty poor quality. For the most part.
It'd be interesting, I think, to compare that to the Star Wars history, because the Star Wars toy history I actually find really interesting, because it's a story of one man who had no idea about how the toy industry worked, brought some business acumen, and was very clever. And the Star Trek toy thing seems to be just kind of like the latest Power Rangers Bandai toy thing, which is people who had no idea how the industry worked and didn't stop using old practices.
And it's such a Star Trek's not a show for toys, really. I mean, I had some of the toys, but it's not really something that you make toys for. You don't have action. I mean, the most you get is Will Riker sitting on a chair in a weird angle. That's the most action you'd usually get in a show.
It's a simple thing. Why aren't there a huge volume of playsets?
Yeah. Oh man. You know what you needed. You needed some of the Shakespearean plays where you could have Picard dressed up as some of the Shakespearean actors.
No. Worf, not a merry man. Worf, not a merry man.
Yep.
I am not a merry man.
Flop him in the water. See that? Yeah. It really. I remember I had some of the
series of toy lines.
I had some of the Micro Machines stuff where they were little tiny. You got a phaser and it unfolded out into a little base. They should have gone more into that range of stuff because you could have done more stuff, like you say, with the sets and have holodeck sets and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have sold.
I would buy Cowboy Worf.
That would be but you'd throw the Alexander toy straight in the bin because fuck Alexander, he's an ungrateful little shit.
He was not ready, boy.
He was not. That's what Worf needed to say. He should have said boy more. Come to fucking learn.
The problem was, Worf used Klingon ways of teaching. Needed to be a Viking.
He's a Spartan.
Spartan.
And of course, the last most important, or not most important, but the most relevant episode, at least to this podcast, is obviously Transformers. So, main question is, Andy, when's it coming back? You've danced around this for a while as you went off on a tangent. It's coming back May the 25th. So, next month, it's just under a month away at this point on Netflix.
Yes. This will be interesting because one of the reasons I'm interested, I will actually watch this, is because I've seen a really good summation of the history of the Transformers storyline. Okay. By a fella called SF Debris. I watch his Star Trek stuff and his sci-fi stuff, and he does anime as well, and he doesn't get anime, and it's hilarious. No. He did Madoka. It was amazing when he hit episode 3.
Oh no!
It was I was watching this lovely show about lovely little girls. What?
Then Urabachi kicked in my door and then threw me out of a window.
Yep. He also did great what he did with Full Moon, which is a one about girls singing, but she's got cancer. Also, she's being helped by death spirits because she's got cancer.
Okay.
Also, she's like 8 and has. And what kind of cancer do you think she has, Andy? The girl who wants to sing.
Throat cancer?
She has throat cancer.
Of course she does.
It's not a bad show, actually. But yeah, because he did a really, really good overview of the history of the Transformers toy line, where I learned lots of things. So I will watch this and see if they can equal or surpass that.
Oh, neat.
So yeah, if you want to see that beforehand, check out sfdebris.com. It's on there on his and it's on his YouTube channel as well.
Cool.
No, this is cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it when it eventually comes back. I tell you what, I would be interested in them doing if they, continue on. And I don't know how possible or feasible it would be. I'd like them to do one on Gundam. But obviously that would mean having to go to Japan and doing. I imagine that's more expensive and faffy than they may be willing to go for. But I think that could be quite interesting.
I want to see Power Rangers.
I'd rather see Sentai personally.
No, because I think Power Rangers is a more interesting story because
of how bad it goes.
I want interviews with Bandai America specifically. I want like because there was a creative decision made like halfway through the original run where things started going a bit weird. And then I want to see like what happened with the current line of stuff, which is basically who's ever at Bandai is a dick. There is someone in charge of Bandai who's just a dick with making decisions for this toy line.
Yeah.
And I want, like, where did the whole girls don't want toys thing come from?
Boys don't want girls, you mean?
No, girls don't want toys, boys don't want girls. That was the theory.
Oh, right, that's what it was. Okay.
And they're just like, I remember so many boys who owned the Pink Ranger back in school. And the only complaint I ever heard was, she doesn't have the symbol on her chest in the show.
But Mikey, girls don't like boys. Girls like cars and money.
I have heard that.
There's a whole song about it.
I think that might have been something I said to my niece during the 5-minute session of during the 5-minute session of insulting her. When the back of my head and just like, what are you doing? What? Why are you saying this? Why are you introducing yourself to this child? That's why.
Good stuff.
I'm sure she'll grow up very well adjusted.
With you around, I wouldn't count on it. But Mikey, I know you. I talked about this last week, and I know how excited you've been. You've been poking me on Twitter with DMs all this week, saying how excited you are to talk about this and give your opinion on it. Mikey, tell me about Power of the Primes.
So, like, in the world's worst attempt at marketing, a week before the show starts airing, we find out that the show will start airing in a week. Woo! We then get a very odd thing of releasing a square of a poster through like various voice actors and Tumblr sites and everything else, which was odd. They're not finished it either. I checked. They've got most of it built, but they're missing like the 3 squares.
Really?
Yeah, and it's just like the show's starting on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days ago, we got our first full trailer, which should have come out maybe a month ago, which was of Power of the Primes. And it basically ran through the show. And my response was, wow, that was a really well-edited trailer. I thought whoever edited that trailer knew how to market the show in a way that made it seem interesting to someone who hasn't seen it.
Okay, yeah.
Because it enters in a bit of mystery. Like, you've got your main characters. Optimus then is shown to have died, and they're just like, oh my god, Optimus died? Holy crap. And then suddenly they're in a forest, and they're attacked by the Dinobots, and then Volcanicus is fucking huge, like, and then, Megatronus is going to kill everybody, and Overlord attacks Snarl, and then you get to see Predaking, and he dwarfs the other combiners. And then you got this big fight, and then you got Grimlock and everyone else, and blah, blah, loads of action at the end. It's just like, I am Optimus Primal. And I thought, as a trailer, really well edited. I want the person who made that trailer to make this show. Because this is like The Last Night, where I thought the trailers for The Last Night were actually pretty well done. Because they were of a completely different movie. Which was about everyone fighting Optimus and stopping him trying to murder them all. Which was what, like about 15 minutes in the movie. So I was like, wow, This really does show the power of editing. But yeah, so the first trailer came out on YouTube, and it's been confirmed that this is going to be coming out on Tumblr for the most part in the rest of the world. But it will still be on Go90 in the US, despite some rumors. Do you know why there are some rumors it won't be on Go90?
Is it because Go90 died?
Dying.
Oh, dying. Okay.
Verizon bought up pretty much everything. And
What was Go90 again? Like, legit question. What was it? Was it a search engine?
It was an online media thing. So they either licensed shows or produced shows. Your man Jeremy Johns had a review show for it. He's moved on to something else now, I think.
Okay.
To an app. And Comic Girl, what was her name? Comic Girl 19. They had a lot of YouTube people come on. And they were really pushing as like, we are the new media thing. And it was a US only service.
Right.
So obviously that annoyed people. But Verizon, who also owned Tumblr, bought up Yahoo, I think. Okay. And now they've combined Yahoo and Adobe into Oat.
Into what?
Oat. OATH.
Okay, that's not a great name.
No, which is going... They're saying like... I had it up here a minute ago, actually. I'm going to just bring this up and I can read what I was reading. Verizon acquired Yahoo, merged with AOL into the subsidiary Oat. In February 2018, Tim Armstrong announced that Go90 had been placed within the Oat division, but was being wound down for the future. He admitted that Go90 was a super ambitious project, but it was difficult to build its brand, and that its content deals could be better leveraged under Oat's individual properties instead. In March 2018, fellow Oat property Tumblr began to syndicate some of Go90's original content internationally. That's why Titan's Return came out in Tumblr. Because Go90 is dying on its legs, and any future Machinima works, unless they try something similar, or they basically have sense and put it up on YouTube, will probably come out through the Tumblr medium. Like, I think Tumblr they're going to try and do some shows on it. But yeah, so basically Go90 kind of did what everyone knew it was going to do and fell flat in its face.
Yeah. Tumblr doesn't seem like the place to post stuff. Episodes, though, right?
It can be done. It's just like Tumblr is such a social media thing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it'd be like hosting stuff on Facebook. It's like, well, I mean, you can, but that's not what the medium's for, right?
But I would always, like maybe it's just like YouTube. They want to push their own platforms. Maybe that's it, but we don't know. But at least, like, Tumblr is at least accessible to the entire planet. It's just not where you look the first place. But we know it's going to be there, so I will be watching it. So I will be looking forward to, Jason Minocha's Megatron desperately trying to save this show. And I will be laughing at Foghorn Leglord, as I will be calling him, which is Overlord, because he is a Southern Belle. But yeah, no word on Optimus being in it. By the way, like, no one said Peter Cullen is going to be involved at all.
Oh, they're saving that for spoilers, Mikey. He'll come back at the end and save the day.
I hope not, because how do I put this? So Peter Cullen isn't in this, so as far as we know, and he isn't in Rescue Bots, as far as we know. I'm not sure that's a bad thing.
No.
I think it's a bad thing that they're getting the guy in Rescue Bots to pretend he's Peter Cullen, but no offense to Peter, but as long as he's there, they're going to keep writing the same guy because someone in an executive position thinks, oh, this is safe. And he's not satisfied with what they were doing either, so.
Realistically, I think it's going to be more like Optimus Prime is reincarnated into Primal or something like that, potentially.
Oh, God. I've been reborn as Ron Perlman. But, Andy, what were your thoughts on the actual trailer?
Oh, God. It's coming. Oh, God. Oh, no more.
No. Anything else?
Like you say, it was well put together, but it's just like the horrible realization that more stuff's coming. And I guess people can be disappointed by the fact that Predaking is meant to be the same size as Volcanicus, and the toys ain't a representation of that.
Nope.
Right?
Yep. Like it's interesting, like, to me in a way. It's just like, hey, also for some reason the Dinobots have blue eyes and Volcanicus is red.
He's angry.
It's always weird to me.
Good to see the frame rate's been improved as well, hasn't it, Mikey? Ha 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 ha.
Maybe. Like,
It hasn't.
hey,
It's still the same.
I'm trying to be positive here, Andy.
Yeah, I was just taking the piss, to be honest.
But alongside this, on their Facebook account, they did a very quick behind-the-scenes interaction with the voices behind the series. Too many behind in that. So we got to see Mark Hamill as Megatronus, Greg Berger as Grimlock and Volcanicus, Judd Nelson as Rodimus Kron, and Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal. It says no, it's no surprise that Mark Hamill, Greg Berger, and Ron Perlman kind of, are good at their jobs, for they are highly experienced voice actors, and it's like, apart from the fact, oh good, we're having the Me Grimlocks back, because hey Andy, G1. Yeah. But Megatronus sounds like Mark Hamill doing his Firelord voice, which
okay.
The man, Grimlock sounds like Grimlock. Optimus Primal sounds like Ron Perlman, but the guy works within his wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. I would laugh if he did the Slade voice.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be cool.
Super sinister Primal. And then you've got Judd Nelson, who still looks like a hobo. And I feel it says something that Judd Nelson's clip is from the first part of Titan's Return, which is
that's true. Actually, I didn't even think of that.
And not highlighting a good bit, if there was one, with his performance, because it was quite poor.
Ooh, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. In my opinion.
Yeah, but apart from we've had the pleasure of meeting Greg Berger. He's a lovely man. Yes. But what was your overall opinion of that little behind the scenes?
Not much, to be honest. It's that general promotion stuff to get you hopefully hyped for the thing that's coming up. It didn't. It's not gonna. But hey, there's some good voice actors probably being put onto a project that's beneath them. Yep.
Wow, would I pay for good scripting and good voice direction in this show? Because I can't think of anyone who does a bad performance except Judd Nelson. I can think of people who do bad acting because they've got bad voice direction, but he's the only one I can say I feel is phoning it the fuck in.
I could see that.
It's weird, and I always find it weird that people attack the voice actors over this show.
It's not their fault.
No, it's really not.
No.
They're doing the best they can. If you read a line one way and the director goes, "I'm sorry, can you read it like this?" And you can go, "That sounds terrible," but your job is not to give. It's at the discretion of the director to pay attention and take your input.
Yeah, pretty much.
They don't. I don't know. But yeah, Andy. Take us on to some Power of the Primes that I think is positive.
Yes, for those interested in him, the Nemesis Prime figure, the Power of the Prime Nemesis Prime, has been listed on Amazon UK sites, and the figure's been listed there for £40 and 34p, which is, I think, considerably cheaper than what he used to be, or at least leader figures were going for, right?
No, I think that's normal price.
Yeah, that's about what you would expect. Maybe 34p over, maybe, but £40 is much more swallowable. That's probably not
especially since I honestly expected this guy to be exclusive prices or something.
Yeah, luckily he's not. Does it make you tempted, Mikey? I mean, these prices are British prices, and I'm not sure how well that transfers over to your Irish monies.
Honestly, yeah, I do. I like him a lot. I like the new molding. I like the extra gear and everything else. The eBay sale continues, and stuff is going up in eBay. I'm trying to decide. Stuff is still selling slowly but surely, so I'm trying to decide if I'll start putting some of it away for something big. So maybe not, but he's not certainly be one that's on my radar.
Good.
Because he's neat looking.
Yes,
and he will probably cost far too much money later on.
Potentially,
unless it turns out this is just the normal wave. This is just wave 3, and he comes this is Optimus Primal's wave mate or something like that. So, what about you, Andy?
It's not something I'm gonna go for. I think it looks neat, but it's something I can do without. It's not something I need in my collection. But I think it looks more interesting than the other Optimus Prime figure. Yeah. So, yeah, it's fine. It's not too bad. Do you want me to take the next one, Mikey? Because I'm not sure if I covered this or not on the last show.
No, I'll do it. No worries.
Okay, go for it.
So quick thing here. Well, yeah, quick enough thing. Smith's Toys are taking over Toys R Us in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Some stories were describing this as a small piece of land, and I'm just like, have you never been to any of those places?
Nope.
It's quite I have, and it's quite large. But yeah, so if you're in those countries, Smiths, which is an Irish-based company, with present in Ireland and England, but basically Smiths are the reasons we don't have Toys R Us in Republic.
Yeah.
Because they basically outcompeted them here. But yeah, so they are going to be buying up all the Toys R Us stores. There will be no job losses. There will be no shutdowns. There will be a name change. So this will add 93 European stores to their portfolio. Currently, between Ireland and England, they have 110. So this will make them the largest toy seller in Europe, I believe. I'd have to double check that, but so yeah, between this, Canada, and apparently Japan's got their Toys R Us covered. It seems like America's the one taking the real hit. It's also did you talk last week about the fact that the GoFundMe fell down?
I didn't know. No, because I didn't think that was really news. I was like, well,
no,
obviously it fell through.
It's news for one reason, and I'm going to throw it in here. But the GoFundMe fell through. Not just that it fell through, but an 11th hour offer, they called it, by the fella from the Bratz company got rejected. So the money, it wasn't just like the GoFundMe didn't get the money, they weren't taking the money.
Right.
Now this is interesting to me because while like 200,000 of that was your man's own money, 40 or 50,000 was investors and normal people and everything else. So my question is, did they get that money back?
Is it not saying the story?
No, it didn't.
Oh, that sounds a bit dodgy.
Because I've heard of people doing GoFundMe things that didn't go through and then they never see the money again.
Not saying that did happen, but I'm just saying it could be a potential.
So if anyone listening to this like gave a tenner or something towards it, let us know if you get your tenner back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andy.
Mikey.
Convention news.
Yeah, convention news. We've got a few little bits and bobs here. So we have TF Expo 2018. It's going to be from the 3rd to the 4th of August in Kansas City, Missouri. We have so far... Bad Mikey. There have been 2 guests announced so far, and that's Mr. Greg Berger, who of course is a Grimlock, Longhaul and Skyfire, to name just a few of his roles, and artist Casey Collar from IDW's long list of comic artists. For instance, he did Ironhide and Robots in Disguise, as well as a whole slew of covers over the IDW history, which is cool. So yeah, if you're in the area of Missouri, or Misery as Mikey said, between the 3rd and 4th, go get yourself down there and have some fun diddy-dun-dun. Yes? Dun-dun. And we also have some news from TFN as Margaret Scott is going to be coming to TF Nation 2018 to join the likes of... Here we go for it with a quick list. James Roberts, Alex Milne, Nick Roche, Jack Lawrence, John Paul Bove, Mike Collins, Andre... Do you want to say this one?
No, I do not.
Well,
the
Andre. Andre the Giant, back from the dead. Andre, the voice of Sideswipe from Revenge of the Fallen. Daniel... Yep, him. From
it's an Irish name.
Megatron. Is it? Oh, okay.
Yes, and
also DC Douglas and the Stan of the Bushes. So this will be, I think, Migrid's first time coming over to the UK. Yes.
Yep.
For a convention.
Well, I applied for a convention. I know she went on holiday here a few years ago, but this is her first time being invited to a UK con, so that'll be fun. Mm-hmm. I've already said that the goal of everyone is to get her langered, as we call it here, or drunk, as everyone else says.
I thought that, I know it as smashed or shit-faced. Culture dandy and all that jazz. So that's good. So if you want to talk to her about things like Till All Are One, Windblade, and the Windblade series, the other stuff, and what's it called? Rage of the Dinobots? Is that what it was?
She's also got a bunch of Marvel and DC books nowadays, and she's apparently, at least for a while, she's going to be writing Batgirl, which is kind of big.
Oh, really? Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. And she had a new book come out recently, a young adult it's either a child or a young adult book, but I cannot remember the name. I think it's
there you
about
go.
yeah. But yeah, she's getting prolific. I remember when we talked to her and she was like, "I've never written a comic before. Holy fuck!"
Yeah, she's been doing it for a while now. Good while.
Yes.
And that's it. That's all of our news, Mr. Mikey. Are you going to be going to TF Nation?
If I can.
Don't
Hopefully
spend
I'll
all the
have the
money
time
on
anyway.
common riders and gods.
Gods, other things. I've made bad choices this week.
So many choices.
It really does tell you what impulse control really needs to be.
Speaking of impulse control, I'm just on Mandarake at the moment, looking at
you
some
fool!
Soto figures, and it says, for the condition of the one I'm looking at, not open package pregnancy, sweets cannot be eaten. I'll read that again. Condition of the toy, which does have candy in it, not open package, pregnancy, that's one sentence, and then they've got a little weird symbol in the middle. Sweets cannot be eaten. I have eaten sweets in the past, so I don't know what that means.
I'm assuming that, like, which figure is it?
I'd say it's the set that has Rogue, the Hell Bros, and the Wolf cell phone.
Those aren't gone off. Those are brand new.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm also confused, because I'm like, it's not like it's the the O stuff or anything like that.
Just cut to Japanese children twitching on the floor and just like, oh, those sweets were bad.
Their eyes have just started turning to foam. Oh yeah, this was a bad batch. You think? But Mikey, what have you been doing this week? What have you been doing for the funsies?
Well, yeah, like I said, eBay sales were basically there so I could buy stuff. And I bought some stuff. Three things of note. One I paid for a while ago and he just arrived, and it is Kamen Rider Gen Level Billion Soto figure, which is a very interesting figure to build.
Yes, he's without his armor, he's
a fatty.
Yeah, well, he's got all of his chunks like in his bum. He's thick
with a double C, ladies and gents.
Nothing in his leg though.
No. But he is fun to build. Stickers are fine. I'm crap at putting on stickers, so you know. He comes with the key slasher, which is interesting because I haven't seen the movie.
Yes, it's in sword form as well, isn't it, rather than gun form?
Yes, which I prefer because I think the handle for the gun thing looks a bit silly.
It is. It is.
But yeah, he's really posable, very solid, looks great. He looks really good with the other Gundam Soto I've got. Yeah, this is a really cool looking little figure. I paid too much for it. That's a cross I bear. If you do pick him up, try and pick him up in the whole box set, because even if you don't want the others in there, you can sell them and make some money back. Because it's Rabbit, Tank, and Laser. Laser level X.
Laser. Yeah.
Like he's the weakest of them from what I can see, but yeah, this guy's really, really nice. Really fun little thing if you're into Rider, and for the moment, the most affordable way to get the ultimate form of our God and Savior.
Oh my, yes, because the other one's like 9,000, 10,000 yen
before shipping.
Oh yeah, before shipping. And middleman services, which you'd need to use to get him if you're over here in the West, of course.
Yes, and before someone says, oh, well, I'll wait until after it's out and get it in Mandarake. You fools.
Oh, no.
I Google Gundam Level X figure art on anything and look at the price.
How's
now imagine
Dangerous
that
Zombie doing these?
120, 130.
Okay, so he has gone up.
Yeah, no, he's gone down.
Has he gone down? Okay.
Yeah, but like just after he came out, he was like at 150 range.
Huh.
Like, so imagine that, but with a figure twice the size.
Yeah, because that'll be big.
He's a big boy.
I think I've kind of decided I'd like it, but I probably won't be getting it.
I would love it, but no.
It's a lot of faff to get the Tamashii exclusives as well.
Yeah, like I've got one coming to me that I managed to track down an easy, cheap website. I can't find anyone who's doing them for less than 70 quid. And I'm just like, I love
an import.
No, that's before.
So dear.
I'm like, I love him to bits, but there's got to be a line in the sand, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
To be honest, if they do the human Kuroto figure, that is way more like a must buy. Because he continues.
That'll probably be an exclusive though, unfortunately.
I would like if it's at the same price of the level 0, I'd pay it. If I had the money, obviously, but I like €100. It like I think he comes to like €100, 120, before shipping, and it's just like I can't do it. But apart from that, I was in Smith's and I picked up something because I was very, very curious about this. I picked up the Jurassic World Indoraptor figure.
Oh no,
I didn't name it. So Jurassic World toy lines, the Fallen Kingdom line is out, and it's being done by Mattel, not Hasbro. The Hasbro line was universally reviled by anyone who was an adult. It was terrible.
The kids like it though?
Not very well. They didn't sell.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Very gimmick heavy. The figures that weren't super gimmicky were based on premature design. So like the Indominus, the good Indominus figure doesn't look like the Indominus in the movie at all. The articulation was atrocious. Like, we're talking 1993 levels. And just in general, the sculpts and everything else. The Raptors didn't have claws, Andy.
Really?
Because, quote, well, we didn't know they had them when we were making the toy.
Huh.
I don't know how you defend that.
No.
You have one job. And who doesn't know raptors? My mother knows her raptors have claws. My niece knows, and she doesn't know what up is yet. She hasn't even figured out how to move her head. But Mattel took it on, and they seem to have a very different design thing. Lots of gimmicks and everything else, but the sculpts are much better. Like, the Rex, they've got 3 different versions of the Rex, and they all look like her. They've got multiple lines. The figures in general have increased posability. But most of them are still like hampered by their gimmicks. So the Rex has a thrashing motion. So you've got neck flexibility, but it's all tied into a gimmick with the tail. But she's got like outward hip motion and movable arms and everything else. But they did one kind of weird outlier figure, which was the Indoraptor, who's the new hybrid dinosaur. And its basic selling point is that it's a decent sized posable dinosaur. And as my dog explodes in the background, that is rare. I don't think we've had one of those mass retail since like 1996. So I was very curious, so I had to pick it up. Probably a little overpriced, but I can live with it. This is the most articulated dinosaur toy I've ever bought in a shop. Ever.
Okay.
We have got, let's see, ball-jointed head, opening mouth, ball-jointed neck, movable shoulders, forward and back, universal, workable elbows with a rotation, wrists move up and down and rotate, tail has 2 joints in it, hips move out, backwards and forward, knees, rotation at the knees, ankle, rotation at the ankle. For a dinosaur toy, that's insane. That is
in the membrane.
Unheard of. In the membrane. Maybe, like there were some weird exclusives in Jurassic Park in 2009 from some really weird molds that might compare, but I've never handled those. They're almost impossible to get. They're stupidly expensive. But this guy, fairly good balance. I can do a variety of poses and hold them surprisingly well. I've made them do a Kamehameha. Yeah, some flaws. The feet are huge because that's how they're dealing with balance in this line. They're making the feet overly big. And there's no, like, toe or foot articulation whatsoever, so it is very easy to get them to a pose where they're just kind of on their heels. And also doesn't feel the most solid. Like, the paint job is gorgeous. There's a wonderful sheen off it. But the whole figure feels like a mid to upper tier NECA.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that thing, we're just like, wow, it's a great one when it's our option. And there's no other options. Like, you're very happy to have it when there's nothing else to do. But yeah, I think, in all honesty, if you're into dinosaur toys or if you just want to experience a posable dinosaur toy you don't have to support a Kickstarter for, this guy... Yeah, I'm still waiting on those, by the way. This guy, not a bad figure at all to try out. And way bigger than I was expecting. Way, way bigger. But yeah, like, I really do like it. Like, it's worth checking out.
Would you recommend Seth buy? Because I know Seth buys dinosaur toys.
Yeah, Seth, if you're listening, and I know you are, because you talk about me often enough.
Because you're the butt of all of his jokes.
Yes, I am. And he must stay relevant, so his jokes are relevant. Yes, Seth, if you're interested in dinosaurs, it's not the most realistic looking animal in the world, but as a posable dinosaur toy, it will work well with your various accessories. It will not fit into a chair, however, so don't try making it sit. And the last thing is shame. In terms of purchases, raw, unadulterated shame. Same day, wandering around. Oh, look, pop vinyls. I don't know why, but I always stop and just look in that sort of like, pop vinyls. Alan Grant. What? They have the entire first wave of Jurassic Park pop vinyls.
Oh no, Mikey.
And guess what? In 2 weeks, they're getting sexy, shirtless Malcolm pop vinyl.
Yes, I saw you'd become a scumbag this week.
And they're getting the Jurassic World ones in a couple of weeks after that. I remember, all I can remember is like reaching, and then I'm in my car and I've got a pop vinyl in my hand and a receipt.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel dirty?
It does nothing. I do. I still feel dirty.
Good.
The head rotates. It does nothing.
Yep.
The paint job is adequate. And I took it out of the box, looked at it, put it back in the box, and now it's on my shelf in a box, which I've never done with anything.
That's because it doesn't do anything.
But I want more now.
Wow, Mikey, you are going to be that guy.
I don't, but it's like, it's Jurassic Park, man. Like, I don't want I've never wanted any other pop vinyl in my life. But how am I going to you can't get a decent Nedry. Like, the Jurassic World's doing a legacy line, which is a first. So they've got, like, the Jeep, and they've got an Alan Grant and a Malcolm coming. But they're not doing a Nedry. And indeed, they've got a chase figure where the Dilophosaurus doesn't have the frill.
Is that good?
But they're not all in that shop. But I managed to source them in other shops in the same town. And, like, they're slightly more expensive, but because they're doing a deal, I might actually save money. Help me.
Will you save money, Mikey? I mean, you may, but will you save your soul from the filth of buying your gross pieces of shit?
Oh, man. And can I just thank all my friends who I asked to talk me out of this, who, one, talked me into it, and then afterwards, quote, "This is the best Friday ever."
I didn't do anything of the sort.
Fuck you, Chris.
I stood there. Well, I sat there and looked at your tweet and just shook my head and was like, "Oh no, Mikey."
He's not a bad-looking figure and all. Like, the head is ridiculous, but like he comes with a little raptor claw that he holds.
I mean, when you say it doesn't look bad, but I mean, does it look really any different from any other pop vinyl?
They don't have human figures for Jurassic World in my Smiths. I looked because they've got like a whole 2 waves coming, and it's got Muldoon and everyone else. I like Muldoon. He has a funny hat.
Clever girl.
And they've got Hammond with his stick. He's dead. You have to be nice because Richard Attenborough is dead, and I do not. I genuinely feel shame.
Good.
Like, I've never had this before at a purchase. Like, I've had buyer's remorse and everything else. I've never looked. No one in the house knows I own it because it's hidden behind my curtain.
Good.
Like,
you need to buy like 3 or 4 like anime ladies where you can take off the pants and put them in front of that figure. So it's like, oh yeah, I get these anime figures that can get naked. What's behind that? No, don't look. Look at the boobs. Look at the boobs.
Look at
the
ass.
Take the panties off of this one.
Look at this nun. Remember that the grandfather figure where you can get the nun? Oh, Jesus. Yes. Be careful about Ami searches, guys. They bring up something dark. So those are my purchases this week. My Godzilla is on its way. So that's good. We'll see when that arrives. But in terms of media and stuff, because I desperately want to get off this topic.
Good.
A little bit to talk about. Darling and Franks had a break this week, but last week they had their episode 15, which was a fun run.
Are we halfway through the show now?
Yes. They did a special this week, which was the creative team coming out and talking about it. And I don't want to get into that because I'm sure they'll spoil something and I'm enjoying the show too much.
Sure.
But yeah, like, good resolution of a plot line. I thought they were going to drag out for the rest of the show. I like this show. I think it's worth seeing. And yeah, some revelations. And I really don't like the blonde-haired little prick in it because he is going to be the bad guy. He's unpleasant and he's nasty. Apart from that, caught up to date on some other shows. So Watakoi was something I was watching, which is basically anime nerds in love, which is actually really endearing and fun because it's a very enjoyable show that references a million things that you'll only get if you are yourself a nerd. And it's also got thing like you've got various different types of nerds, and like the girls are very into yaoi and boys loving porn, and they're very open about it. And I'm just like, I've met so many girls like that. Yeah. And it's just like nice, normal, nerdy people being nerds, having fun. Like the stereotypes are there are positive stereotypes in my opinion. Like, so I'm enjoying that.
It can't be as good as Big Bang Theory though, right? Right.
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 Shut up. Right. What else? I've got like 4 or 5 things I haven't seen anything of that I need to sit down to watch. But Persona 5, caught up on that. They finished their first story arc. Interesting show. They're taking a very almost literal translation of the game at times. Like, their combat system is the game's combat system.
Oh, weird. That sounds interesting.
And how he gets personas, and they brought in fusion, and like fusion means you don't have that persona anymore. So the main guy no longer has his initial persona.
Oh, neat.
There's a line like, "Oh, I'll see you again at the end," and I'm assuming like somewhere in the game this guy comes back and it's a plot point. Also, complete confirmation personas are at least somewhat sentient, which means that fusing takes on a slightly dark turn. But yeah, like, dark opening plot, I'll say that much. Unpleasant villain. Very unpleasant. But I'm enjoying it. I think they need to dedicate more time to building up the main character. But if they're sticking to a very game-esque approach, I could see his character suffering a lot from it.
I imagine that would be the case, to be honest.
Yeah, because like, when they did You for Persona 4... they took a lot of lines from the game, but they built a lot of stuff around it, and that's what made him such a fun and engaging character to me.
Yeah.
When they did Persona 3, they didn't do that. They basically lifted a lot of dialogue and didn't build that framework around him. And I'm slightly concerned they're going to do that here, but overall I'm enjoying the show. Also, 4 episodes in, we finally have the full opening. What took so long?
What do you
good
mean?
opening as well.
You mean online or something?
No, I mean like the opening wasn't in the show.
What? Why?
There's no episode opening in episodes 1 and 3. In episode 2, there's an opening which is the song, but it's just clips from episode 1.
Oh.
And I was like, is this the opening? But like, no, they've got episode 4, full thing, fun. I like Morgana. Morgana's fun. Yeah, so Persona 5. Like I said, I'm going into this completely blind, but I am engaged.
Do you feel sad that you're not going in and watching the game? Oh, sorry, playing the game.
No, because like I got into Persona through the animation first, and I think it's giving me a taste of that. Oh, there's going to be stuff in the game that expands beyond. So what I'm concerned about is that they're going to try too hard to make it the game,
right?
And not expand, like not adapt it for the format.
Because I asked that because I know some people complained about Persona 4. Because the identity of the murderer was so obvious in that versus the video game, because obviously it was spread out over a much longer period.
Yeah, well, like, also, no offense, but you all knew who the murderer was if you're making that complaint, because you played the game, and you have the power of hindsight.
McFeely, it was mainly because McFeely watched it for the first time and he hadn't played the game.
Really? I'm surprised at that. I've met 2 other people, like, locally who've seen it. One guessed it and one didn't, so I think one of the problems you have is that it's going to be someone they know, because it's a structured thing. I'm not saying who the murderer is, because that's a dick move. But, I didn't know who the murderer was when I watched it. Maybe that's just something
I didn't
about
know
me,
because
but...
I played the video game and I forgot. Because you've got so much shit going on in the video game. You've got to have dates. Gotta prep for school. Gotta do all that shit. You don't have time to think about fucking murder.
I'd also say like who the murderer is actually less important as to the relationships, because that is a relationship ass driven thing. So for me, like, I had no problem going in not like I think if I'd gone in with the game, especially back then, I would have gone in with the attitude like, is it like the game? And did they fuck it up? And it's like, that's not how you need to deal with these things. Also, My Hero Academia, season 3 is up to episode 4. It is coming into its own finally, after a bit of a rough start in my opinion. Good fight in this one. Didn't have You Say Run in it though. Like, had a completely different... You know the track, You Say Run, the one that... The main... I'm bad at these things. But the sort of main action theme
Right.
theme tune. They didn't have that in this one. They had a completely different one that was way blander.
Oh, that's a
which
shame.
and it was like a really good scene for it as well. But interesting, fun. This is darker than the series has been previously. Like I think someone might be dead. I'm almost sure they're not, but there's at least an indication. It's like, there's like interesting. Yeah. So like there's other anime things. Steins Gate is tonight. Tonight is Steins Gate night.
Oh, how many episodes so far?
I think 3 or 4.
Oh, Mikey.
I'm not ready for this. I'm really not emotionally ready for this. And there's a couple of other animes I'm going to check out during the week, so we'll see how that goes. But apart from that, Batman Ninja came out this week. I haven't watched it yet. Got it off iTunes, but I will be watching it. Did you hear the bit of kerfuffle about that?
No, the only thing I've heard about it is Angry Joe's review on it. It didn't go into the spoilers, but I've heard things about it, and stuff has been spoiled, but not because of the Joe review.
No, but 90%, or at least 90% of the English dialogue is completely different from the Japanese.
I didn't hear that. Oh, that's weird.
Because it's been a long time since I've heard this was an issue, but apparently the production on the scripts began concurrently.
Right. So,
and at one point they only had like a 6-page outline of what the Japanese scripts were going to be.
Oh, God.
So instead of waiting and then just recording the scripts and everything else, I mean, like the way companies do it these days, doing like a simul-dub approach.
Yeah.
They just started writing their own thing. This is what was it? Macross. What was the Macross thing over here? Robotech. This is like, basically, they're taking the Robotech approach of, I've seen the show, I'll put something together. Which is weird to hear modern day kind of thing, you know? Like, very clearly not a company experienced with the genre.
Yeah.
Or the medium, rather. So I have got both versions, obviously, but I will be watching the Japanese one because one of the reasons I sometimes find dubs difficult is because they change stuff, and I'm not interested in seeing someone else's interpretation. I want to know what the story was. So I will be watching the Japanese version when I do. But the big thing this week is I saw Avengers Infinity War.
Yay!
Actually, there's another big thing, but you will cover that.
Okay, will I?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we have both spent a week watching the bloody thing. You're going to cover it.
My Little Pony.
Boy. So in Avengers Infinity War, a lot better than I was expecting, in all seriousness. I think
now, you were very positive on Black Panther. Was it as good as Black Panther?
No, not even close.
Okay.
I will say the Black Panther cast are great in this. And most of them are in it as well, which you can't say for every movie. Like, most of Thor Ragnarok's cast aren't in this. Overall, I thought it mostly is a pretty tense movie. Thanos is great. This is Thanos the movie, and I think Josh Brolin did an excellent job as him. He's interesting. He's got motivations. He's got layers. Some people are saying sympathetic villain. I'm just like, no, it's still Thanos. Like, if you sympathize with Thanos, it's kind of like people telling me they think Joker and Harley should really get past it all and get together. It's like,
I kind of sympathize with at least comic Thanos. I don't know about movie Thanos. But...
He's not. There are differences. I won't go into anything, but they made it. They did an article saying they weren't going to bring debt into the movie, like the character.
Oh, boo!
With despite the fact they were clearly setting up for it back in Avengers.
Boo.
Yeah. So she's not there, which is a shame. But there's lots of metaphysical nonsense. The Avengers themselves are in character. I would say the weakest part of the movie is when it's on Guardians and Thor. The writing is not just tonally different, but it's just really awkward at times. Like, there's a really bad Drax joke that goes on far too long. I did laugh in the movie quite a bit, but it was like with Tony and Doctor Strange and Captain America and Banner and stuff like that. Like, their humor got me. When it was on Guardians, it was pretty straight face. I will say, after the first 20 minutes or so, though, the Guardian stuff got a lot better because they started interacting with everyone else and it became a lot more playing off each other, different personalities. Rocket's pretty fun in this. Yeah, really can't say anything else because massive spoilers. Massive spoilers for anything else. Any other opinion you can give? I'd say it's a 7 or an 8, to be honest. Which for a Marvel movie these days, like I except for Black Panther, recently I don't think I've given anything higher than a 6. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think this will age poorly though.
Why is that?
This is something. Like I went into this understanding who all these characters were because I have 10 years of film directly behind me. Either watching this as someone who hasn't seen any of the other Marvel movies, and there must be plenty of people who do that, or watching this as someone 3 or 4 or 5 years down the line who are watching this in isolation, you're going to find it does a very poor job of setting up who these guys are because it's assuming you know. Like, it also has some structural problems, and it is mostly action scenes more than other ones. So I think it will age poorly, at least in isolation. Maybe if you keep, like, if you're watching Marvel stuff and you say, right, I'm gonna over the next 2 weeks binge the Marvel movies and then Infinity War at the end. I think it will hold up better then. But I don't think it's going to be. There is bathos. There is less bathos in that. There's considerably less bathos. Like tonally, it is pretty heavy. From what I understand, a lot of people find it way too heavy and depressing, and I was just like, what were you expecting? But yeah, so that was my big thing. I can't talk about that more without spoiling it. And I'll just say, please don't be the people going like, oh, well, I'm surprised I saw X from X in it. And like you think you're being vague because I saw one guy do it and I was just like, I can put all the little themes together to get to who you're talking about or what you're talking about. And just like, don't make jokes about people dying. Don't make jokes about Thanos. Don't reference the comics stories that this is tied to. Don't be a dick. This is a big, whether you love the movie or hate it, this is a big ass event for people. Don't ruin it for them because people are being pricks. Like, there are some people on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter who are being assholes. And don't be that prick. Simple as. Andy.
Mikey.
What are you up to this week?
I got a few, like 2 things I think this week. I got finally the Post My Broly. It was figurized standard kit. He's very good. He's probably the most accurate of all of the figures I have so far in terms of like how he looks versus his cartoon counterpart. He's big. He's very big. He's bigger than Cell and broader than Cell as well. Not massively bigger than Cell, but he is definitely bigger than him. The issues I have with him, because there are a few still. He's not built the same way as Cell, so the way that the knees are done are not they go for the same kind of joints that the most of the other Geed characters have, because all the Geed characters have the same body and the same legs and share the same parts, and they're not the nicest way to do double knee joints, and it's the same for Broly here. And his what would skirt, red skirt.
I'll accept the word skirt.
Yeah, I don't know how else you'd say that, but the way that goes on is not desperately clean because it's cut into basically 4 shells. You've got the front part, which is the front skirt, and then the 2 bits on the side, which are the big flowy bits. They don't the way that those 2 bits connect off through 2 little ball joints on each, 1 ball joint on each side, and when you kind of flay them out, they look really weird and awkward. But that's the problem with trying to do like robes or kind of material cloth stuff. Yeah. It just kind of never really works too well. But he has 2 expressions, which is kind of a shame. Standard's kind of smug and screaming, and I have only had him with screaming face on because, that's just how he goes.
It's Broly.
It's Broly. I would have liked him as well to come with at least 1 energy attack. He doesn't come with any energy attacks.
Maybe this is size.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's the size and the amount of stuff he comes with, because he does come with 2 extra faces. A teeth-grinding Vegeta face for when he's being punched in the mush by Broly, and a screaming, "Oh God, please put me down," from Goku. So I'm guessing that's where the budget went, which is fine, because more faces for those characters is good. Yeah. The problem is I don't have those characters, so and I definitely don't want a Goku. I don't want the Goku that's out, because I don't like it that much.
The Goku.
Yeah, I've been tempted by the Vegeta, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I really want it that badly. It's a good way to help sell other toys, though. If you're like, well, you got bonus pass for these guys, so maybe you should do it. And it's like, that's not a bad idea. He comes with 2 open hands and 2 closed hands, which is kind of all he needs, really. As his expression is more is kind of, I'm gonna grab you and punch you, and not much else. So I'm very pleased with him, very happy with him. And the next one that they announced recently, since Piccolo came out, was Vegito. And he has a huge energy attack that he comes with to represent his sword, and you got a little Boo figure you can plop on the end of it as well, which is funny.
That's the best bit.
The thing is, that'll be completely unpainted in the kit, but it made me smile that it was there. It's super silly. So I got him, built him. That was fun to do. And I also picked up Battletech on Steam, which is a turn-based strategy game based in the Battletech universe. Battletech is also known to some people as Mech Warrior. It's the same idea. It's set earlier in the timeline than Mech Warrior, so there's none of the fancy mechs like the Mad Cats, the Vultures, and those kind of things, and the Thors, for people who know that game. But I've been playing it. I've been enjoying it a lot. It's fairly easy to play because it's a turn-based game, so I don't need to plug in a controller. Or for a game like Total War Warhammer, where I kind of need a desk to lean on so I can manage the keyboard and the mouse and everything going on at the same time because it's real time. With a turn-based, I can just go, I can fuck about and lie on my arse if I like and just have an easier time of it, which is nice. It's fun. It's maybe a little bit too much money that I spent. It was like £34 new, something like that, and it's missing. It's the story's told through a lot of dialogue boxes. It feels like a budget title, but it's being sold for a much higher price than maybe it should be. But I like to support the game because I'd like more games like it and more games involving the Battletech universe. So hopefully that will happen. And the only other thing I did of real note was I finished watching the playthrough on God of War. Dad of War. Boy.
Dad of Boy.
Have you finished it as well, Mikey?
Yes, finished it yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, what did you think of it since you're old in with it?
That kicked the shit out of Avengers Infinity War in terms of writing.
I had a feeling it would. Did you like the twists?
I did like the twists, and I liked all the characters, and I rewatched some like God of War 1 to 3 stuff, and I was just like, wow, Kratos was boring.
Yes.
I mean, he was very much, I am the teen boy, let me watch things explode.
Yeah.
And now he's a person.
Yeah.
Who's like regretful of his actions, but not really looking for someone to forgive him. He's just like, I fucked up. Well, someone needs to cut down this tree. I like Kratos in this a lot. Like this guy who has learned to calm himself.
Yep.
He's Atreus is fun and Mimir is fun. It's just really,
is
really
amazing. Mimir is amazing.
Mimir is gold. Like, and that guy has no reason to show happiness about anything. But God bless him.
I like the fact that it tells Norse mythology factually in a sense. Like it's not like the Marvel Norse mythology where they're not all assholes apart from Odin. It's like every Norse god is a cock in this. Like an awful cock. It's great.
Yeah. But like something I always like about Norse mythology is that it's a bit more layered than Greek stuff. Yeah. So like some character like Baldur in Norse mythology is actually quite a pleasant person for a god. But like they do have characters in this who are decent people. Mm-hmm. But it's not about them. They are part of the story. The story is about the darker side of things.
Yes.
And I like where I think the story is going is an interesting take on Norse mythology. But yeah, like really want to play this game.
It kind of like I've heard a few people say that the Norse stuff is more interesting than the Greek stuff, and it's probably true. But I believe that because God of War was made, the original ones were made when they weren't as concerned about making the story interesting in a lot of ways, if you know what I mean. They were just thinking about making cool set pieces.
Yeah, I think
very well.
I think having the gods normal sized for the most part, it was a very intelligent thing to do here.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like again, like they were levels and everything else back then. Now they're people, and I would be if someone wanted to like do a reboot version of God of War 1, where you've got all the rage and everything else, but good writing and a few stylistic choices that are different. I'd be up for that.
I would be, but I wouldn't be at the same time because I kind of want them to move on now. I want them to keep going the way that they're going. You know,
just keep going on the road they're going.
And precedences are set in certain parts of that level that could open the God of War franchise to very interesting things.
There's what, like, I know the bit you're saying, and I'm just like, ooh, they could do so much with this.
A little elevator sequence, and you go, ooh,
yep.
Look at that,
Yeah,
that's very good. I said to you when I finished it, I said I don't think the story is like amazing. I think there are video games that have better stories, but I think the way that it's told and the way that it's shown is the best I've seen. I've also described it as, and I was called to be an uncaring bastard last night because of it. I called it Last of Us, if Last of Us was good.
I like Last of Us, but Last of Us really makes you, like, if you don't invest in Ellie and what's his name, because I can't remember his name, you don't... Joel, baby. You don't invest in the game.
Yeah.
Because you have to invest in those two. And he, like, to compare him, he's the fella who would slap his child to prove a point, and she's the one who would like, oh, slap me, will you? Whereas Kratos is the one who will control... Kratos doesn't raise a hand to his son. And it's about him learning how to balance that with being a good father. Yeah. And his son has to learn how to be a good son. Yeah. And they're both developing. Like, I find that more engaging than Ellie's adorable. And she is. She's also a little shit. At times. So, like, if you want to tell me which relationship I think is more engaging, I would say Kratos and Atreus.
Oh, yeah.
Or well, more accurately put, Kratos and Boy.
I would also say the reason I say that is because I found The Last of Us to be pretty bland in terms of its world, because it's just like, it's The Walking Dead. That's all it is. You can tell me it's not, and I'm like, it is.
Mushrooms, Andy.
Yeah, it's just zombie mushroom people, and it's like, it's a post-apocalyptic world, which I find generally quite boring anyway, because it's been done to death at this point. And the gameplay is terrible. Like, I do not like Naughty Dog's style of gameplay.
Naughty Dog?
I hate it. I know a lot of people like it, but I think it's terrible.
Terrible.
From my perspective. And God of War does not have that problem. God of War's... it does have problems. It does have problems, like its UI isn't great. And sometimes it can be a little bit faffy in places for no particular reason. And there is a particular room with 4 white doors, if you remember that sequence, Mikey.
Yeah. Yep.
That's not good. That's not a good sequence. That's really bland and boring, and it's just a room full of enemies. But no, I really liked this movie. I really liked this video game, even though I just watched it and I didn't play. I was like, wow, this is super impressive. They do such good subtle things with the characters for conveying emotions as well. Like this isn't a spoiler because it's right at the beginning of the game. Atreus has shot a deer or is about to shoot one, and Kratos is gonna put his hand on his shoulder, but then he pulls it back. Yep. Because he's like, I want to show this kid affection, but I can't.
I'm not that guy.
I'm not that guy. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't because I'm a fucking monster. It's like,
because Kratos has hang-ups from who he used to be.
Yeah, he really does.
So I love the fact that that's I love that's the ongoing thing. It's just like Kratos knows what he was, and I want because I really like who he is in this. And he's Christopher Judge as well, which is amazing. I want him to have a moment where he says, where someone says, you're a monster. And he says, no, I was a monster. Now I'm just really scary.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, he kind of does have that moment.
He has the monster moment, but I want him to go like, I'm not the monster anymore. Or like, for Atreus to say, you're not a monster anymore.
Yeah, that'd be
like,
nice.
Because he isn't. Like, this is something I love, which is stories where it's not necessarily about redemption. It's about that people change, and even in extreme examples, who you were 5 years ago doesn't define you. Yeah, and like, I like this is the kind of story I'm really into, and my God, Christopher Judge can act.
And it's a fucking pretty game as well.
Oh, it is.
It's a beautiful game. It only has a few like drops in frame rate in certain places in it, but for the most part, it has no loading screens either, which is really impressive. It has hidden loading screens. But
Yeah,
they're well camouflaged.
It's marketed on the fact the camera is always moving and always on you.
Yeah, and it helps keep you immersed in the story, which is really good.
And like the hidden loading screens, what I would say, they were very cleverly done.
They were. I could tell where they were. I was like, there's one. But well, if you're just playing the game and you're not just watching it, you probably wouldn't notice it as much. No, I think that this looks like it's a console seller. If you haven't got it, this could be a game worth buying the console for, as long as there are other games you want as well. Would you agree with that, Mikey?
I would. This certainly is like, I'm looking for the money.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's going to be DLC for it as well.
Apparently, no. The creators have all come out, at least like last week, the creators have all come out and said, we don't want DLC. We haven't any DLC planned. I wasn't interested in telling a story and then telling you that half of it has to be bought 6 months later. Maybe the popularity...
What he's telling you is you're going to have to buy the other half of the story in like 3 or 4 years' time. Or 5 years' time.
Yeah. Like, if I was picking DLC, I'd want to see some of the... Like, there's places they don't go.
Yes, that's why I was thinking that there would be DLC for that.
Yeah, that would be nice, but to be honest, I kind of respect a guy going like, yeah, there's money to be made here, but I would personally not do it. The company may turn around and say, listen, guys, this is gangbusters. This is one of the most well-reviewed games in years. Come up with something. Like, we'll give you a year for development, but you don't have to come up with anything, don't ruin anything in the game, but come on.
I guess a worry is, like you say, it was so popular. Will they push out another God of War game too soon? Because this took 5 years to make, as far as I know.
What, are they going to Dragon Age 2 it?
Yeah. Or, well, I was thinking Mass Effect it, but
Oh, no, Andy, I'm not over Andromeda. I'm barely over the ending of Mass Effect 3, but at least I think I came into that just as they were like apologetically trying to fix things. But didn't really fix it, but they made it like feel a bit better about things. But Andromeda, I'm not over that. Like everything I've seen of that game is just like, how do you fuck this up? Wait, you have some guy in the board saying I need it out in 2 years. What?
Yeah.
I need it out in 2 years, but we haven't started yet. Well, you better finish. What?
I mean, it's this weird place. I want there to be another God of War so I can see the end, because the story doesn't end.
Oh God, no!
It ends on a cliffhanger. There's so much left that they can do with that story. The story itself is done, if you would, but there's so much left to the world that hasn't been done, and consequences from the story and what they've done that will ripple into other games. That I want to see what happens now, but it's going to take for it to be good again. It's going to take a while for them to, to get something done.
Yeah. It's a classic thing. Like they have taken the characters in this arc as far as they needed to go, but there's other arcs to This is an act 1. This is set up to be an act 1 of at least a 2 or 3 part story.
Yeah.
So. Oh, it's not bad, Andy, at all.
No, it's good. It's good. Very enjoyable. I don't have anything else. Oh, we did get our Moonbase woo-woo today.
We did.
What was it on, Mr. Mikey?
Dragon Ball Super with a young JD. And,
yes.
I thought it turned out fairly well.
We didn't cover half the stuff, though, because there's still so much that we couldn't cover in the time that we had.
Yeah, to do this properly, there's like a 4 or 5 hour... it is a 4 or 5 hour recording session, and I couldn't do that at that time of night because people want to go to bed. So it is like I was thinking about stuff we didn't cover afterwards, and I was just like, oh, that would be interesting to talk about. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like Jai is a well spoken and theoretical man.
Yes, yeah, agreed. So thank you, Jai, for joining us for that episode. But since we're done, Mikey, where can people find you on the internet if you want them to?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo, and YouTube as Wolfie3, and you can find me helping out the old house, sometimes not so much these days, but when I can. And if you'd like to contact us here on the Moonbase 2, you can do it on our Twitter at the Moonbase 2. on Twitter. I'm repeating myself today. Like babies and stuff, it's all very exciting here. I'm not thinking about things. And if you'd like to email us, our email address is themoonbase2@gmail.com. Can be about anything, really. As long as it's not the weather, I'm happy. Andy, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr, CCTFW. On YouTube is Cobra Commander TFW. You can find this podcast on the Moonbase 2 forums. We're on Twitter, we're on iTunes, we're on Facebook, we're on Libsyn, we're on YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. If you want to watch the stuff there, you can do. And if you want to help out the show and get stuff like Moonbase Woo Woo, you can head over to patreon.com/moonbase2 and do $2 each month. You'll get Woo Woo. You'll also get the extended version of From the Files of Teletran 2 with the extra edition of us talking about Visionaries, which only has one issue left, right?
Maybe. And then we have to figure out how we're going to approach this Unicron stuff. We've had one suggestion, which was, I think it was do Unicron as a Patreon show, and then at the end of Unicron release it.
Oh,
like
okay,
to the
that's not a
public,
bad
which
idea.
I kind of like. Release it as a special, or a 1 or 2 part special. So we'll see about that. But I think it's fair to say Unicron behind a paywall is, considering everything that's going on, maybe not be entirely correct.
Yeah, but a delayed paywall.
Yeah, where you can
That'd be something.
hold on to us, and then you can enjoy us in your ears all at once for hours on end.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I like that. Unless other suggestions come through, of course. So you can get that and the Woo Woo, and we also, if we do interviews, you get them a week early as well.
Yes.
And if you want to see all my nonsense, you can head over to weebly.com ccbunker.weebly.com.
How
I
long
head
have you
over
been
to
saying
weebly.com. I got messed up with all the other stuff, and I was also thinking about, I built a Broly and took pictures of him and put him on Facebook. Do I talk about that? Why would I talk about that? Shut up, Andy.
How goes
buy the things.
I meant to ask you, how goes the video gaming?
I haven't actually. Oh yeah, I've been doing more episodes on my YouTube page for Dark Souls. I should have released an episode today. I just need to turn that from private to live, and I might do some Dark Souling after this to record just a few more parts, because I think I've got one more part up there, so I need to do some more recording to have some more stuff to release later on.
Yeah. Can say honestly, he's pretty good at what he does. It's quite fun to watch. Although there is still that one guy who has to dislike everything, even when he clearly hasn't had time to watch the video.
It's great.
So, I wonder if this is like back in the day when there was like all those fake YouTube accounts for the various Transformers reviewers.
Oh yes.
Like maybe there's like an anti-Andy out there, because there's still an anti-Vangelis.
Is there?
Yeah, like really racist Vangelis.
Oh man.
Who then goes like, it's okay, I'm Chinese. I'm actually Chinese, so I can say what I want. I'm just like, no, you're still a prick.
Oh man, that's amazing. In the worst way.
I did see that. Oh man, I saw one thing, like some comic guy was like being really, really violently homophobic.
Oh god.
And then he said like, and apparently did this like Trump as a bunny thing, which pissed a lot of people off. And then at the end it's just like, listen, you can't have a go at me about diversity and biases and everything else. I'm Chinese. And it was just like, you're right. People are racist towards Chinese and other Asian groups. That doesn't make you less of a prick.
No, sweet. Hey, the internet. That's how it goes sometimes,
I mean,
Mr.
like,
Mikey.
don't engage those people. Life advice. If you meet someone who pulls that card to defend their homophobic tendencies, go make a cup of tea.
Yeah, it's for the best. Well, Mikey, that's us done for this week, so thank you for joining me, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And that's us done for April as well. By the time you listen to it, it should be April the 30th, and that'll be April done as we slide on into May.
Anniversary month, because
the hot, sweaty summer, which I'm not looking forward to.
The anniversary show should be in a week or two, depending on...
Oh, God.
I'm waiting for a couple of things.
Woo! I'm looking forward to it. Scared, worried, but yeah, that should be fun as well, hopefully.
We totally have a plan in place.
Everything's on fire again, Mikey.
You
We'll
were
catch you
not
next
ready,
week,
boy.
everyone.